the vibe of this episode is gonna be
It's gonna be weird.
Majorly different from
It's gonna be
when
funky.
Keegan came up and like actually helped, and Rylan just came up and started
fires in my interior. Okay, so where we last left off with the 4-door E36, of course we pulled the engine, transmission, wiring harness, drive shaft, exhaust, all that shit out. I got the front subframe bolted back on, steering rack back on, wheels in the front to get it rolling. I didn't want to go any further until I had a definitive plan in mind as to what I'm going to be doing. This car being both rusty and wrecked, I really was debating getting a new shell, swapping everything over, because this is fixable. Car would never be perfectly straight, and I would still be dealing with the massive amounts of rust, my rotten floorboards, and my lack of rockers. So on that note, here is my freshly acquired 1997 BMW 323 IS. Fantastic shell, zero rust or rot, no body damage, straight frame, and 2 doors. It's a coupe. Bit of an upgrade. That's about where all of the good things about this car end. It has a paperweight of a 2.3 liter M52 with both a warped head and a window block, paired with an awful automatic transmission. And it's been sitting underneath a tree for about 2 years with no sunroof, so the interior is absolutely trashed. There's parts everywhere, the headliner's hanging down, the wiring harness has been ate up from rodents and other shit that's found its way into the car. But total of none of that really matters as long as I'm starting with good bones. Everything from my car is getting swapped over. I'm going to be starting with subframes, suspension, diff, interior, all that good stuff. Going to be stripping this car completely down, getting rid of all of the bad stuff. Going to be swapping my body harness and everything into this vehicle. This is, of course, an OBD2 EWS car, so everything, every single piece of electronic, every single wire has to be swapped over to make all of this work. But, of course, before we do anything, the first step is going to be cleaning this absolute pile. A lot of parts, a lot of trash, a lot of leaves. There's a few dead rats, I believe. So, I've got a shop vac. I've got my lovely girlfriend here, an extra set of hands. I've got some gloves. We're gonna try to knock this out. That it's nighttime, it's still humid, still about 90 degrees out, but heat index during the day has been about 117, and it's gonna continue that way for the next week. So right now is gonna be the best time to do it. We vacuumed about 40 pounds of shit out of here, and there's a lot of bugs, a lot of spiders. There's some like trees growing right there and a lot of mold. And I'm not gonna crawl in here with the amount of black widows that I saw. So I've got trusty old box cutter. I'm gonna cut around things that I would normally have to unbolt and yank this carpet out here because it's nasty and I'm never touching this shit again. It's going right in the garbage. So, are you ready? Okay, so yanked all of the carpet out, a lot of cutting, all of the sound deadening back here. Definitely a lot of standing water, and I'm amassing a very large pile of trash, but there's still a lot of spiders inside of the dash, so I'm probably gonna bug bomb this tomorrow before I even start pulling the dash out. But also yanked off the hood insulation, windshield wiper cowl vacuumed out by that beautiful man. Valve train. Disgusting. Oh, nasty, nasty. So yeah, we still have to pull everything out of this trunk. Got a lot more cleaning to do, a lot of parts to figure out what I'm gonna do with. Okay, a few things occurred. Got the car on jack stands. Inside is completely cleaned out, except for my Christ book that I'm gonna keep so I can preach some sermon while I drive. Vacuumed out. Trunk's also cleaned out, but I threw a bunch of spare trim and shit in there. So all of the matting and carpeting that can be removed is removed. I'm gonna have to get all the sound deadening shit out. It's actually it's a nice little echo chamber in here. But yeah, got about 40 pounds of shit in the shop back, and got the bed of the truck completely filled with old interior and nasty shit that smells, and there's a lot of bugs in there. Gross. So that's good for right now. I know I skipped through a lot of stuff. We've been all busting ass on this to get done tonight, but car's completely cleaned out, all the carpeting, all of the insulation and foam. I'm gonna go get a couple bug bombs tomorrow and bug bomb this so I can pull the dash out and all that good stuff, because there's still a lot of creepy crawlies up in there. All of the spare parts that came with this car that I had loaded up in the truck, I've got all of that and all the spare parts that were in it on a shelf in there. So pretty much good to proceed with yanking engine and subframe and trans and everything out of this car to start stripping it down to transfer all my things over. Got a lot of stuff to clean up and throw away. Got to get these wheels taken care of. Bunch of shit. So I'm gonna call it on this car for tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow to start taking more shit apart. Well, it's been a couple days, and I've done the car YouTuber equivalent to doing a little mining off camera. I tried to get some footage of all of this, the entire process, of course, of stripping this car down, but it's been so damn hot that every time I put my phone on a tripod, in about 5 minutes it overheat. So I have like little to no usable footage, but it's boring shit. I mean, it's just taking parts off. Got piles over here of engine, transmission, harness, just a bunch of random shit. There's the rear subframe and front subframe and suspension and everything are sitting over there, steering rack and all that. This white car is essentially a bare shell as of now. All of the interior is completely gone. Dashboard, steering column, shifter assembly, all of the auto stuff has all been yanked out. Subframes and entire drive line are all gone. So we're pretty much in the position where things are ready to be put back in this. I've got a little bit of like scrubbing and cleaning to do on the nasty metal on the inside and the engine bay. I've got some like unnecessary brackets and stuff that I'm going to be deleting to lop off in there too. So my plan for today, I want to start taking the interior out of the four-door. I haven't really touched this much since we last left off, but I want to pull these bucket seats out and hopefully get this like dash and carpet and everything out, because my goal for tonight is to get clutch pedal, brake pedal, shifter, all the manual stuff installed on the two-door, and then start swapping subframes over, because new coilovers and control arms and stuff just came in the mail. So we're gonna start with taking the inside of this car out, gutting it, and swapping all the manual stuff over. I'm gonna go ahead and get this car jacked up. I picked up another set of jack stands since the two-door is currently occupying mine. Hi.
Howdy.
How you doing?
Hello, YouTube.
Shut up. It's on 0.5.
Woo, 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 woo.
There you go.
Hold on, I wanted to lay it in a coffin on your hood.
Good.
And this thing's gonna properly get you into the D.
The full course meal.
This is my YouTube channel now. I'm the captain now. Look at my car. Look at how much car it is. It's kind of sweet. I got wheels. I got wheels on wheels. Miata on Miata. I'm vlogging. I got tires on wheels.
It's got 4 wheels and an engine.
Okay, that's approximately where you had that.
Sure.
Almost everything's in frame.
Hi, YouTube.
Hey guys, Chris Fix here.
Guys, I'm busting it down.
You should have seen the other day. I was driving back from the RC event.
Yeah.
And Cody called me. He was like, "Where are you?" And I pulled up and turned around, so I was facing like if you were leaving downtown. And so then what I did is I took the car and I put it in first gear, and I drove and I turned the wheel and I gave it a clutch kick. Smack a lip, wow! And then I just like did a little drift in downtown Queen, I thought it was funny. Okay, well I'm gonna go get tires now. I just wanted to swing by.
Okay. Come back when you get them mounted. That was a good one. See you, Betty.
Later. Well, I'll be back.
I'm gonna get back to working on my car now. Okay, well, got the seats pulled out. This thing's gross, dude. I didn't realize how gross this car was until right now. That's it's used Q-tips from an old owner. Classy. All right, well, let's start taking the trim off this dash.
I don't know. I've yet to be able to just I've yet to have the financial stability tire-wise to just do a huge burnout in the Miata, and I think tonight might be the night. I don't know. Are you zooming in on me? You're like face tracking me.
Dude, this thing's nasty. This thing's nasty. I also didn't realize that I wasn't recording that whole time. Don't burn my carpet. I'm starting a hobo fire. Oh my god.
Bonfire.
It smells so bad.
It smells like fire.
The vibe of this episode is gonna be
It's gonna be weird.
Majorly different.
It's
from
gonna be
when
funky.
Keegan came up and actually helped, and Rylan just came up and started
fires in my interior.
I'm gonna start plastic welding things together. I don't know. You had a lighter. It works.
I smoke weed with that lighter.
No, I smoke plastic.
Okay. All right. So we've got center console, radio stack, AC, climate control, all that stuff's out. All the underdash trim, glove box, everything's unbolted. Got the screws that are very difficult to get to. At the top of the dash, there's 4 of them underneath those vents. Pulled those off. Bracket bolts. So now we should be good to lift this entire dash up and yank it out. Okay, so instead of messing with these snap bolts like I did on the white car, I'm gonna take this entire dash bar out. So I've got everything unbolted. Only thing is, there is a spring on the back of the steering column right here that keeps it on. And there's a retaining clip underneath this bit that you have to pry off to pull that steering column out from the back. Give it a break! So I'm gonna push the steering column back, try to get access to that, pry that little clip off, and that entire steering column with the dash bar should just slip out. So what I did for this is I got a 7/8 socket, slipped it over, and hammered it to get this spring ring back so I could get this clip off with a flathead. I couldn't get this to stay up, but that worked, so that's out. So the entire column should pull out now.
That's what I'm saying.
I've got the full steering column out with the dash bar, so I will be able to just bolt that into that car. Pulling the brake and clutch pedal assembly here. I've got the master unbolted from the brake booster, so now I need to take the link off for the brake pedal right there and pull that back, and then take the 2 lines off for the feed on the clutch and the line out to the slave cylinder. And then there's one more bolt up top, and this entire assembly will come back. Here's the entire pedal assembly, hard line, soft line. There's him, and steering column. So now I need to grab that shifter out, and then should be good to start swapping everything over to the two-door. Okay, so all of the manual swap accessories are now acquired. Shifter and clutch and brake and everything of the sorts, master and slave, and all the clutch lines, all that's gone. So we're gonna bolt some of that up to the white car. I'm gonna take the dash bar to the white car so I can bolt this whole column assembly up. Let's do it. So I ended up figuring out that the dash bars were not exactly the same. So I ended up cutting the steering column off of the old dashboard with an angle grinder because it had those snap bolts on it. And throwing some new hardware in here, getting it on the dashboard and bar, and see steering columns in there, clutch and brake pedal are all in, mounted properly. All the lines are ran into the engine bay, which was a much more difficult task than I expected it to be. You can see it's been about an hour or so. So fun. Let me get the shifter in and the gas pedal, and we'll go from there. All right, ladies and gents, it is the next day. As you can see, we've got the shifter in, and today we're going to be working on a little bit of wiring and maybe subframes. So I ended up getting the subframe out of the rear of the four-door pulled last night. Got it out here. I hit a curb a couple days before I totaled the car while out street drifting, so the back right side took a little bit of a hit, and you can see that from the kinked upper control arm, bent trailing arm. You can see this toe plate is absolutely bent. This hub's blown, pretty much all the bushings on the right side. So this entire right side needs to be replaced, all the bushings, the upper, the trailing arm, the hub, and all that. So I'm debating whether or not I just slap the trailing arm and upper that was on the white car on this rear end assembly. I'm not sure. We'll get there soon enough. But as of right now, what we're doing is I went ahead and got these bus terminals in. So these are just for supplying power to all of the accessories that are throughout the car. They're mounted. I'm gonna have the main power wire running up to the 12-volt harness, the constant 12-volt for the ignition, and ground's gonna be running right here onto the chassis on this bolt. And right now I'm cutting up all the ignition leads to wire in this ignition switch panel. So I've already got a little bit of work done to this. Got it pre-wired, all the accessory wires jumped. My plan for this is it's going to be mounted down here. This switch is going to be for main power, of course. Accessory 1's going to put the car in the accessory mode. Accessory 2 is going to put the car in run mode, and accessory 3 is going to turn the fuel pump on, and of course engine start button. So to do that, what I'm doing here is I'm leaving the main 12-volt source to the ignition, and then I'm going to be running off this power lead for the on position. So this is the power lead that gets 12 volts when the key is all the way on. So the key is going to have to be turned in the ignition, of course, to both unlock the steering column and supply power to the switch panel. And then from there, the switch panel, of course, accessory 1 is going to be powering this purple wire for the accessories. Accessory 2 is going to be powering the run power for the ignition, and accessory 3 for the fuel pump. And then this engine start button is going to be wired into the black and yellow wire for the actual starter itself. So I went ahead and heat shrink some of this stuff, cut some of it up. We're in the middle of wiring right now, so I'm going to go ahead and solder this stuff up and get back to it. Okay, I've got some of this wiring wrapped up, so everything is nicely tapped into the ignition and tucked away. Everything's zip tied to this dash bar all the way down, including that 12-volt power lead to the bus jumpers. And then the ignition panel here is tapped into the on position for the ignition. I've got this jump box connected to the bus terminals, so now when you turn the key on, boom, everything gets power, all the accessories are fed, and of course, as soon as the key is turned off, the switch turns off. So now I'm gonna go ahead and grab these three, which are the purple and green and starter lead, and wire it in here, and then I'll run the wire for the fuel pump later. Well, boys and girls, it's been a minute. We've got quite a bit of stuff done as of now. See, all of the bus terminals are wired and neatly managed. Ignition panel is in. All of the accessories, the run position, fuel pump, engine start, all of that stuff is ran. Everything functions as it should. I went ahead and put some jump leads on and ran a jumper from the junction box to the fuse box to supply it power, tested it, and everything worked. There's accessory. Boom. Check that out. That's electronic HVAC, baby. That knocks out a good bit of the interior work that needs to be done. Pretty much everything else from here on out is going to be actually prepping this floor for getting carpet, putting the seats back in, you know, glove box, all of the trim panels and everything to give it a little bit more of an interior. Got some radio wiring to do and all that stuff, but that's post getting the car run type of ordeal. I went ahead and went by Junkyard, got a new gas pedal assembly because the other one snapped. I ran out to go get some new fittings for the ABS delete. Unfortunately, they didn't have the ones that I needed, so we're going to be ordering those off Amazon. But we also have, got it wrapped up here so nothing gets in there, but the master's on. Pretty much all of these lines are ready to get outfitted. As soon as the fittings for the ABS delete come in, I can throw those on there. I went out and grabbed some new angle grinder discs so we can chop out the brackets for the ABS unit and a few of the other unnecessary brackets that we're not going to be using anymore. But now that I've got pretty much most of this stuff done, everything in here is done in a way that the car can run and drive other than putting the gas pedal in. What I want to do tonight is start getting this motor knocked out. Boo. Jump scare, sorry. I'm currently in the middle of editing this video, and I realized that this part has ran on for all of 20 minutes so far, even though I've recorded jack shit for fuck. My car has just kind of magically disassembled itself. I'm going to be putting all of the engine work in another part, so scratch that. Got a lot of shit done. The car got stripped to bare shell. All of the OBD1 wiring has been done. I know I did literally the entire engine harness and part of the body harness off camera, but it has a dashboard, it has all the OBD1 ignition, the steering column, the manual swap, all the brake lines, everything, all of that shit is done. So from here on out, it's just going to be subframes, suspension, and finishing the engine. Head's already off the motor, I'm already in the middle of rebuilding it, so yeah, next part will be out soon. The low chance that there's been viewer retention rate to the 20-minute mark. Congratulations, here's a little Easter egg. I'm ending the fucking video now. I'm not putting more shit in here.